Hello everyone. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Albany, Oregon. Welcome. Today we are going to be making this sweet little card. My main focus for this started with I wanted to use the new Elements of Text stamp set. So this round one is actually in the background on here. And then I'm also using, this is an online exclusive. I'm also using the heart-shaped bundle again. And this is a celebration item. You get the bundle free with a purchase of $120 or more. Let's see, I guess let's start with show you what you're going to need to make this. You can either grab a screenshot of these measurements, or as always, I will have a PDF with the measurements and supplies listed down below this video in the description box and also on my blog at Get Crafty with Sally. So let's see, I think we'll start with taking our, I don't know if you noticed the dimensions on this. This is going to be the front piece of our card. And I'm starting with a piece of basic white that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to do put some ink on here with my blending brushes. I don't like the hard edge that I end up with during the process of putting the ink on this paper. So when I'm done with the ink blending, I'm going to cut 1/8 of an inch off of each side of this paper to get rid of that harsh edge. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, it will when we get to that point. So let's grab our I'm going to grab my stamp. Hopefully you can see this and there's not a ton of glare. Make sure I get the stamp in here. I always do these little corner line things on my little piece of grid paper because I always do multiple cards and I want everything in the same place. So I'm going to start with, this card is, it's not actually blue and pink. It is Seaside Spray and Fresh Freesia. So I'm going to start with my Fresh Freesia ink pad. I'll open it up. And I'm just going to try to use one of these long edges. And I want to put ink in just the center part. So I'm just going to press that edge. And if you don't get it the first time, it's okay because you can keep going over this. So we'll take that edge, give that a press, see what our ink looks like. I think that's okay. So now I'm actually going to grab a little chamois and wipe that ink off. Now let's take our Seaside Spray. You could also use Balmy Blue. It actually comes out pretty close to the same look on this card. And then I'm just going to use this edge again, and I'm going to try to place ink on the outside of where I had done the fresh freesia. So that looks pretty good, and you probably can't see it on the camera. You will in person. You do get a gradient effect of when the Seaside Spray ink goes over the fresh freesia. You'll get like a blue, purple, pinky, purple, blue effect. So I'm missing a little bit there, so let's add a little bit more. See if we can get that spot. And this stamp, the beginning image of the stamp, the way they made it, is not perfectly clear where you can read all of the words. So it's fine if things aren't showing up perfectly. I'm going to try one more time. I don't think I put that low enough here. That looks pretty good. So let's take that one out. And I'm going to set this aside. So now let's do our ink blending. I'm going to grab my chair. Make sure we're still in the camera. Grab a little piece of scrap paper. And hopefully I won't get ink everywhere. So I'm going to start with my fresh freesia, take my blending brush, put it into the ink, take a little bit off, and I'm going to come in from this top corner onto the white paper. And I don't want it really dark and vivid. So now I'm going to go down to the bottom, and there's no specific way that you need to do this. You can put your colors wherever you want them. And I'm actually going to stop before I think the color is really obvious, because it is going to smooth out, and it does I don't know if show up better is the right word. I'm actually going to take my fresh freesia and go over lightly the fresh freesia words that I stamped. So now let's take our Seaside Spray ink, and we'll do the same thing, mainly coloring the white spots that are left between the fresh freesia areas. And I'm going to go over the Seaside Spray words lightly again. So let's do this bottom right corner and these words lightly. And then we'll do this upper right hand top piece. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's see if I can show you what that looks like in the camera. And I've got a dog that wants out, so let me go open that door really quick. Sorry about that. So now, I don't know if you can see, I don't think I have a piece of white paper. Let me see if I can grab one. Now maybe you can see the edges of this paper and what I'm talking about with that harsh edge. That's what I'm going to cut off. So let me bring my trimmer in here. And I'm just going to cut off. This is 4 inches, so I'm going to cut off 1/8 of an inch from each edge. And I'm going to have to go up here to the top. So this ends up being 5 by 3 3/4 instead of the 4 5 1/4 that we began with. So if you want to initially cut your paper to this size and skip this step, you can, and then you can just do the ink blending, but you will have that harsher edge on there. So now let's put some of this together, and I am going to bring in a horrible color of scrap paper. Let's do we've got our base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to take my bone folder and burnish that edge, give it a good crease. So let's take our piece that we just stamped and colored on. I'm going to grab my green glue, and we'll put glue on the back of this. And I'm going to adhere it to this piece of fresh freesia. Now I also took my I'll show you my box here in a minute, but I have my champagne mist. This is something that Stampin' Up! Used to carry, but they don't anymore. I will put a link or a couple links to places that I think still have it. So let me grab my little box and I'll explain it to you. I just have a small Stampin' Up! Box here. It's got a paper towel in the bottom, and I've got one of the spritzers, and I have mixed this. I filled it up about 3/4 of the way with 70% rubbing alcohol, and then you can put 3, 4, or 5 drops of the champagne mist ink in there. Whatever your preference is, you really don't need a whole lot. And I'm going to shake this up because it does settle. So I'm going to lay my card down in my box. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to give it a test spray to see where I'm headed, and I'm going to spray that on this card. You won't be able to see it on the camera, I'm sure, but it does give it a really nice sparkly effect all over. kind of like Wink of Stella, but you don't have to paint it on. And if you painted it on with Wink of Stella, it would be pretty heavy all over. This is pretty light and glittery. It's really nice. So let's now, and it dries really quick. That alcohol dries pretty quick. So let's attach this piece to our card base, sorry. And this one, I'm trying a basic white card base just to see what it looks like. Check out your stamped script before you place this piece down. Make sure that it's heading in the right direction, that your card opens on the right. So the next thing we're going to do is for this little heart piece, I don't know if you can see, that is a cutout, and underneath it I have stamped another heart that looks almost like this one that I cut out. I've stamped it in Seaside Spray. So I'm going to grab this other stamp setup. Same thing here. I've got my little edges. And that's probably not going to be correct because I probably should have stamped it before. I can't see it with the glare. Yep. I should have stamped it before I put my piece on the card base, but that's okay. Let's take our stamp off the platform. We'll center it on the card where we think it should go. Pick it up with the platform again. That looks pretty good. Hopefully that's straight. Let's grab our Seaside Spray. If I can get it open. Put some ink on our stamp. Give that a press. I'm missing a part right there. So we'll try it again. That looks pretty good. And it's not perfectly straight, but that's okay. Let me close my ink pad up. So now for the cutout heart. What I did for that was I took another piece of basic white paper and my blending brushes and the same two ink colors, Seaside Spray and Fresh Freesia, and I just put little random blobs of those two colors onto the basic white. And with the die from the heart-shaped set, I just cut my heart out of this paper. And you want to make sure that when you lay this down, you don't get a whole heart shape of pink or a whole heart shape of blue. You want to make sure that it's kind of interspersed in there. So I've already cut my little die out. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got pink, blue, pink, blue, pink, blue. So that's pretty good. So now I am going to grab my chair and put some glue on the back of this heart. And I could have used the little fine tip bottle, but I think this is okay. Not really going to take a whole lot to get it to stick to our card front. I'm just pretty much putting a little dot on each one of the leaves. I think that'll hold it down. You could also put some on the little heart frame if you want. So let me stand back up. I'm going to grab my reverse tweezers. And I'm going to lay this heart over the top of the heart that I stamped. Try to get it straight, even though the one underneath isn't. So I think that looks pretty good. So then the next thing, I've got this little sentiment that says I love you, and it is from the Country Bouquet stamp set. I am using With Love this time. I've already stamped it and cut it out. So let's grab that and put some glue on the back and adhere it to our little fresh freesia panel. I did cut the sentiment out with my favorite die set, the rectangle stitch dies. I used this one. So if I could find a couple of dimensionals, here they are. I will put some dimensionals on the back of this. Cut a few of these off. Not going to take much to adhere it to the card front. We'll pull our little dimensional covers off and add our sentiment down here towards the bottom. Take a look at it and make sure it's straight. And now I have to go let the dogs in. Sorry. Okay, the last thing we're going to do, let me put the lid on my glue. I have got my iridescent pearls, basic jewels. I'm going to put a few of those on this card. So let's take those out. Grab my tweezers. So I'm going to put a small one up here, a large one, which I hardly ever use, in the center, and another small one over here. And that should do it. That is the card. What do you think of it? I love these colors. I think it's so sweet. So here is the sample that we started with, and it has the Seaside Spray background piece. And this one has basic white for the background. Which one do you like better? This ink, like I said, is going to smooth out and look a little different in a little while. I also made a couple with, I love these two colors together. I don't know why, it's kind of weird. Flirty Flamingo and Daffodil Delight. So there's that one. And that one has a Daffodil Delight background card base. And then this is the same colors with a basic white card base. I also did, this is actually the card I started with when I was designing this. And I used the butterfly from the Sketched Butterflies set and stamped it in Memento ink, Tuxedo Black, and then I just colored it in with my Stampin' blends. So those are my cards for today. Let me know what you think. I'm not sure which one I like best, but it might be this one. So again, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you taking the time to do so. If you're getting anything out of my channel, please hit the like button, share my videos with your friends and family, and if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. And I will see you next time. Bye.